Radio, Rahim with Eddie Hearn. We are in the middle of chaos. We've been in the middle of chaos for a week, if not a few months. But I must start here, and we will get to the Ryan Garcia sideshow. But I was stood here some years ago, actually, with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
And the two of you and Joshua and Finkel were all in the throes of barbs and, so many insults back and forth. At the time, it seemed like the only thing that could happen between the two of you guys is a clash, right? And now we stand here in New York at Barclay, and Deontay Wilder is a matchroom fighter.
For one night only. Maybe. Look, life moves on. Always been a fan of Deontay Wilder, but you have to understand how the business works. People will make you dislike someone. Do you know what I mean? And I said some things that I'm sure wound him up, and vice versa. But people around him would have been saying at the time, oh, that Eddie Hearn, he's trying to do this, he's trying to mess you around, and they kind of build a story. I've seen it so many times with fighters. It's only really when you sign them or you work with them, they go, do you know what? He's actually all right, And it's like, I don't really understand why this happens in the industry other than people are afraid that people will get too close to you. But what I'm seeing with people like Wilder and particularly people like Boots is, it's remarkable that they've never had a promoter, right? So they've never had a guy who stands in front of the camera and says, see this guy here, he is the fucking real deal. I'm talking about Crawford, I'm talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. This guy, Boots Ennis, is the next big thing in boxing. Do you know what that does for your confidence? Like with Wilder, I saw like a depleted man. And even in London, when I'm doing the stuff in front of the camera, like I'm saying, this guy, he's going to bounce back. He's got fire in his hands. I can see him like, just that, rather than getting deflated, just that moment where you're puffing your chest out and you're saying, yeah. And like, that goes a long way. Confidence in sport is everything. So I want him to be back to his best because I want him to fight Joshua. And when you think of the potential fights out there for him, His Excellency has said, if you win this fight, you've got Joshua, you've got Usyk, you've got the Parker rematch. And he's our captain. So I'm 100% behind Deontay Wilder for the win.
The thing you said that probably did get under his skin the most was that if you had him, he would be a household name. You walk the streets of New York and nobody knew him. There was a mean troll.
No, but that was true. But that's true, Rahim. But that was also before the Tyson Fury fights. Like there was a stage where America had the WBC World Heavyweight Champion who was knocking everybody out, and no one knew who he was. I couldn't understand it. He's a star. Like, he's a huge personality. He's unbelievably entertaining in the ring. Like, he's one of the biggest punchers in the history of the sport. He's American, and he's the world heavyweight champion.
Well, he's not the world heavyweight champion anymore, but he is still all of those things. He's the big puncher. He only lost to Tyson Fury, and now Joseph Parker.
He's got to reignite the fire. He's got to reignite the confidence.
My question is, can you reignite the promotion behind Deontay Wilder?
Listen, the story of him fighting for us and him captaining the time, that's all that promotion's done. Now it's over to him in the ring. He can, in one night, in one performance, change everything for his landscape of his career. If he gets beat by Zhang, that's probably it, right? If he knocks Zhang clean out, oh my God, the hype train for Deontay Wilder is back. And he can do it. He can beat this guy.
Eddie, I am putting higher stakes on this 5 for 5 than that are even already in existence, right? He's your captain. But if he's not a matchroom fighter, it's a bit of a ringer, right? That
was the rule of His Excellency.
Understood.
He said, in this, the one weight class, you can bring in the heavyweight. Right? So that's what I did.
Yeah, and you brought this particular heavyweight in, who, again, if he only fights the one time, in matchroom wins based on the double pointing of the one fighter that you only fought one time.
Rahim, come on.
What I'm saying is, let's look down the line. Let's keep him. That's what I'm saying.
I think, put it this way. I'm going to be bigging him up the next, 8, 9 weeks, right?
Yeah.
8 weeks, 7 weeks is Saturday. And I'm going to be like, when he wins, when he knocks Zhang out, I'm going to get in the ring. I'm going to cuddle him. I'm going to pick him up. And then after that, the relationship is born. And he's going to say to me, Eddie, what's next, baby? And I'm going to go, Joshua, Parker, and of course, the relationship with His Excellency. He's very fond of Deontay Wilder. Like we had that fight signed. So don't be surprised to see that in the future, but he must win on June the 1st.
All right, let's say he wins on June the 1st. You'd be open to promoting him further. Is there any discussion, any conversation whatsoever about making this a longer-term relationship?
No, only that His Excellency has said to Deontay, if you win, these are all the fights ahead of you. So, obviously, I work with Saudi and His Excellency. So, yeah, I think we will be working together. But it's, let's just get this one done and win on June the 1st.
All right, the bet between you and Frank and Queensberry and Matchroom. Yeah. What's the bet now?
This is a great bet. So it's worth more than any amount of money. So if Queensberry win, Frank Smith, who's our CEO, will dress as a maid and will go to the Queensberry head office and will serve the entire company tea and coffee for the day. And if and when Matchroom win, Andy Ayling, who is a long-standing member of the Queensberry team, will dress as a butler and will come to the Matchroom HQ and make everybody coffee for the day. And this will be filmed, by the way, as well.
You're going to think I'm just, putting it to you, but I'm only talking to you now. I'll talk to Frank soon.
Yeah.
Yes, Andy, those guys, that's fun for you guys. But
what is wrong with you
why not Frank?
Why can't you embrace this concept?
Why not Frank and Eddie doing the serving of the coffee? Isn't it your company? Aren't you the two who are actually having beef?
I'll tell you what, that's an interesting point.
That's the one. That's the only one that matters. You can't send your next guy and his next guy.
The only reason is because when things weren't good between us, they used to say to Frank Smith, he's a T-boy. And Andy Ayling used to call him a T-boy. So we do need that element in there as well. But maybe we'll think of something else as well.
I'll ask Frank the same, but this is the only thing that we will accept. Something we need you and Frank on the.
You have to wear a Matchroom T-shirt or Queensberry T-shirt.
Let's keep the bet what it is, and we'll see Frank in your office or you and his doing the thing.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Ryan Garcia, because we got to get out of here. Listen, we've seen a lot of things in boxing. At first I was like, hey, maybe this is a Ali, listing kind of, I'm going to pretend to be crazy and spook him in the ring. Now he's looking more like Mayorga. When you look in his eyes, what are you seeing?
Pain. Emotional pain. I don't know. Listen, all the things that can win Ryan Garcia this fight exist, regardless of how he's feeling right now. Do you know what I mean? And I can't make a judgment because the reality is I haven't had a conversation with him. I haven't seen him in the gym. So I don't know. In my experience of life and being around fighters, he's acting incredibly uncharacteristically. So, I mean, but the people who know him and hopefully love him will make a decision. People like Derek James, people like Oscar De La Hoya, people like his dad and his mum. Yeah. I would like to think they wouldn't keep him in a fight that he wasn't ready for. Do you understand?
I mean, we know he passed some kind of mental test, I believe, or, fitness, but we've gone past promotion now. He's missed weight. That's incredibly unprofessional. It's a title fight, or it was. And he's chugging beer on the stand. Is that beyond the pale?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, the weight, look, people miss weight, right? But when you behave like that in camp and you miss weight, it don't go down well, right? And when you think that Devin Haney, now I know exactly how much weight Ryan Garcia lost during this last 24 hours, but how hard did he work to get that last 3.5 pounds off? Devin Haney would have worked very hard to get that last 3.5 pounds off. So physically, you're at a disadvantage. Do you know what I mean? So it's not fair, but it happens. The deal has been reached. The fight goes on. But Devin's just got to be switched on tomorrow night because I think expect the unexpected. Expect him to maybe not come out of his dressing room when he's asked to for a little bit of time. Expect him to maybe hurt Devin Haney. Expect him to quit on his stool.
What are you expecting?
Something telling me tomorrow night ain't going to go normal. Because let's be honest, nothing's gone normal, is it?
Right.
I think he quits on his stool. No mess.
And last question, it's $1.5 million to Haney.
Maybe.
Oh.
Well, I mean, look, there's a deal for the weight, but Ryan's got to honour his actual bet. There's a contract to miss the weight, but the actual full amount of the bet has to be honoured. But
is that honoured in writing now? I mean, they had to come to a deal.
There's a deal around the weight, and then there's maybe the promise of, and the bet. But as we know, Rahim, sometimes those bets don't get paid.
How much has he actually lost on paper so far?
None of your business.
Radio Rahim, always asking for things that are none of my business. That's the gig. We appreciate it, Eddie. We're looking forward to either you or Frank serving tea
Yes.
at the respective others' office. Radio Rahim with Eddie Hearn.